It's time for the Central Florida Computer Society and Sarasota Technology User Group Windows SIG or WinSIG for Sunday, March 12th, 2023. I'm Hewie Poplock, and we're glad you're here. We've got a good crowd so far, and it's growing because we're just getting started, although we do have a half hour of social hour, and we do chat during that time. And if you weren't here, we encourage you next month to come at 1 o'clock instead of at 1:30 when we actually begin the meeting. And as I always do, let me share my screen again. I've preloaded all of the links for today, and all I would do is tell it to open it. And as you'll see at the top, they're all loading at once. And so while it's doing that, I do want to mention that this is the new Bing. You can ask it any question. You can do the regular search as well. And you can use the new Bing, the chat, to do the AI. And it has a more creative, a more balanced, and a more precise. And you can ask it whatever you want and have it do it. But that's not the purpose of this meeting. To learn more about AI, stick with us. Right after this meeting, on the same link, we will have Bob G talking about AI and all you need to know to get started. And you'll find that very interesting. It's still loading all of those locations. It's got a few of them loaded, but let's give it a minute or so more. And I posted a list of some things that I was going to cover for today in order to get my newsletter out before the first of the month, before the STUG meeting. So it looks like I'm going to have to send my newsletter out twice a month and update it in between some months, because of the fact that STUG meets on the first Wednesday of the month and we meet on the second Sunday of the month. Did I say that it's the first Wednesday of the month? And then this group meets the second Sunday. Well, that can be quite a distance apart. And I want to make sure that the newsletter gets out to tell you what the STUG main meeting is going to be about, presentation meeting. And so it changed from when I first sent it out earlier this month to when I just sent it out the last couple of days. So anyway, the list changed because there were a lot of new articles that I wanted to add, and I had a list that was so long and I split it up. So I still have them, and hopefully I can fit some of them in for next month and at other times as well. So, okay, they're all loaded. So let's starting from the top one and go from there. And we'll tell this continue without, I have an ad blocker on here. And so how to customize your Windows 11 PC. And we're going to tell it we want to do the immersive so that you can see it nice and big. And how to customize your Windows 11 PC. Windows 11 is a great operating system, but everybody has a different way of keeping it and the way they want it to look. So you can change the themes on Windows 11. I don't, except I don't use a background. Let me minimize this for a moment, and you'll see that I use a plain color. And I've got a lot of icons, which I really, and one of the articles gives you some indication of how you can clean this up. But I use just a plain color in the background because I do so many presentations. I think some of the pictures can be quite confusing to somebody when you're trying to share your screen. So I keep just a plain color. And I'm not sure if you're aware or not, but you can turn off by right mouse clicking, and I'm getting off the subject here, although I think it's one of the things that they mentioned in the article. But if you come to view and you can tell it, don't show the desktop items. So when I click that, they all go away. So now I got a clean slate. So if I want to bring up a window and record it, I don't have anything in the background to confuse people. And if you want to bring them back, you just go to View and click on Show Desktop Items, and they all come back. So you're not deleting them or anything. Okay, so let's go back to what we were talking about here. So, so changing the themes, and there is a way to change an entire theme where the colors are different and so on, you know, and I've had some people who were who like them purple. Well, I don't like purple. As my screen on my computer, I like purple, but it's nothing against purple. But it just, to me, isn't what I want to have on my computer screen. You might like it. I try to stay generic. And so you can contrast themes. There's all kinds of things that you can do. Here's how to change your desktop background. And it actually tells you how to go ahead and do what I did, where I changed it from a picture to a plain color. And what you do is, if you don't want to change the whole theme, so if you want to just change that, you will go to, let's minimize again, and I right mouse click and personalize, and the background. If you click that, you can make it any color you want, or if you want, you can change it from solid color to a picture. And if you do, whatever picture was there, but let's take this, and then I'll minimize this for a moment, and you'll see now my background is that way. So it's that easy to change the background. Let me find where I did that. Well, we'll personalize background, and I'll bring it back to. You can also do a window spotlight. You can make a slideshow, or go back to a solid color. And I'll close it out there. Okay, so we're back to here. So you can change your background for whatever purpose and then come back to it without changing the whole theme. How to choose light or dark mode and accent colors. So again, personalize the light or dark mode. I don't like the dark mode. And I'll point it out as I look at some of these articles. When people are doing screenshots, I think the dark mode is very difficult to take a picture of and then to share with others to point out something. I really like the light mode as opposed to the dark mode as far as demonstrating windows or various settings and that sort of thing. I think it's much harder to read in black. However, in the dark mode, but I have found when I'm working by myself, it sometimes is much more pleasant to watch the dark mode than it is the light mode. And then you can customize your lock screen. Of course, I can't demonstrate that because I would have to go out of Windows to do that. But you can, where you have to sign in, the picture that's there, you can personalize that as well. And you can customize the touch keyboard and other input panels through Windows, and you can customize the start menu on Windows 11. You can reorganize the apps. So if we open up the start menu, you can move things around. If I want Word over here, let's see. Now I've got them together as a folder. And I can take them out, make them separate. We've got Excel here on the right instead of on the left. So you can move things around to organize this any way you want, and you can remove things and add things to it, so on. And you can customize other start menu settings as well. And you can customize the taskbar. You can add or remove app shortcuts from the taskbar. As you can see, I've got a lot. I don't know. I think you can see my taskbar at the bottom, but I do have a lot of items that aren't normally on the taskbar. And then you can also, from the taskbar, if you open up what's hidden, you can move these around now too. So I've got 2 items dealing with, no, that's not the one I was going to move. Oh, I rebooted and I don't have it here, but you can move this one up to here if you wanted to, or move it back down to the back. Whoops. So you can move them around. And so on. So you can add or remove system icons from the taskbar. You can move the start menu to the left. I have it in what's called the center, but because I've got so many items, it's moved it more to the left anyway. But you can do that if you want to go back to Windows 10, the way Windows 10 looks, and you can change your desktop background with third-party apps as well. And you can customize the taskbar and start menu with Start 11, which is from StarDocs. And there's some things on the start menu you can change. You can change your Windows 11 theme with window blinds, again from StarDoc. And so that's it for that. And let me stop sharing for a moment. Any comments, questions? Peter?
Is it possible in Windows 11 to pin a folder to the taskbar? I know in the original versions of 11 it was not. In 10 it is possible. That was one of the things that Microsoft was supposedly going to ask back. It's important to me because it's a feature I use a lot.
Well, let me stop full screening this and let me look down. I think I have a folder. Yeah, let me share my screen again. Hopefully you can see my taskbar. What I'm going to do is I'll take a picture of it using Snagit. Take a picture of it. And then it's right here. You can see it in the center of the screen a little bit better. You'll see I do have one right here. So if I bring this up here. So yes, the answer to that is yes.
Thanks.
Oh, come on. I can't get to my stop share. There it is. Okay, any other questions? If you're raising your hand, I can't see it. Best thing to do is use the raise hand under reactions if you want to make comments or say anything. Okay, let's go back to yes, Harmon, you have your hand up. You're muted.
If you use a program called Nexus, you'll be able to launch anything you have in a folder in your computer.
It's called Nexus, N-I-X, N-E-X-I-S.
N-E-X-U-S.
N-E-X-U-S. And it again, what does it do?
It provides you with a bar that can be easily hidden, can be easily positioned, and you can add icons to it and launch anything you have in your computer that's executable, and it works perfectly fine.
Okay, and is it free?
Yeah,
Okay, good. All right, thank you, Carmen. If somebody can grab a link for that and put it, or if you have it, Armin, to put it in the chat box, appreciate it.
It's there, Huey.
Okay, great, thanks. All right, let's go ahead and share again. And let's see, this is the next article. Yes, okay. So let's hit Immersive Reader. 8 settings to tweak a new Windows 11 install. One is enable the clipboard history to move content efficiently. And there are steps in here. It's blank here because it's the Immersive Reader, but if you open it up, it will tell you what you can do and what you, and then hit Win V on your keyboard to bring up the clipboard history. Now, I'm not going to try that because I'm using a clipboard program, and right now I don't think it's running, so maybe I can do. Let me try the Win V. I don't know what's going to do. All right, it wants to set it up, and I don't want to do that. So I turn it on because I use a program and it's not there. So I've got to go start it anyway. So I'm not going to go into this because I'm going to do a video on it. I'm still learning it. It's called Clip. And it's supposed to start automatically, and it didn't. And every time it does, it says it couldn't register it, and it goes away. And then when I click on it and bring it back, let's see, where is it? It's supposed to be over here on the other screen, and I don't see it. Okay. It's going to argue with me. So I did a reboot just before the program, and it's not there, and I can't bring it up. Anyway, I'm using that. I have been using a program called Clipmate for probably 15, 20 years, but it hasn't been updated in probably about 10 years. So I decided to try a different one, and it handles the way it works a little bit different than Clipmate, this Clip. And so I've been working with it. I like it, but it doesn't do everything I want as quick as I could do it in Clipmate, but I've been using it for so long, and it was second nature to me. So I'm trying to figure out how to do some of the same things in this program. And for whatever reason, I can't bring it up to show you what it looks like. Okay, set up nearby sharing. That's mostly if you have a laptop. I don't have a laptop, so I don't use, and I don't know whether I'd use that or not, depending upon whether you need something like that. If you want a cleaner desktop experience, I mentioned this earlier, I need to hide some of my icons. I'm going to make some folders and put them in folders and try to make it so it's not quite as cluttered. I tried to keep it so there was only a handful of icons on there. So I need to do that again by cleaning it up. Now, when I say cleaning it up, here's what I mean. Is if hopefully you're seeing my desktop, and anything that has a little arrow on it, like here, that means it's a shortcut. If I delete it, nothing will matter. It's not going to be on the desktop. So if I right mouse click and get rid of it, it's gone. And I don't need Microsoft Edge on my desktop because I've got it in my taskbar. So I'll go ahead and get rid of it. So I can get rid of things that way. It didn't delete the program. It's only deleting the icon. However, I've got some files and folders here. If I delete those, they go away. And there's the clip. And it's on, it's working. For whatever reason, it's going away and coming back, and it's not working right. Anyway, so you can get rid of a lot of things on your desktop very easily. I don't even use this, so I'll get rid of it. So already I've cleaned out some of my desktop, and I can do that probably with a lot of these because I don't use them from the desktop anyway. I'll go into the start menu, or I have the ones I use the most on my taskbar. So let's tab.
I'm sure everything is on your taskbar.
I'm sorry. To show
Said, I'm
everything.
sure
Yeah.
everything is on your
Yeah,
taskbar.
Yeah, that's way over here on the right. There's a show desktop, and that minimizes everything. And I can click it again and it brings it back. Is that what you're referring to, Bob?
Yeah.
Okay.
Everything's your search for everything. And you have it on the desktop as a shortcut, but I'm sure it's also on your taskbar.
Oh, you're talking about the search everything, the program. Okay, yeah. That's another one I can get rid of. So I'm not going to sit here and get rid of all of them while you're sitting there. That can be probably the most boring program you've ever attended. But you can clean up your desktop. And you can make folders out of several of them. If you want them on your desktop, just make a folder and put several in the same folder, and then you just click the folder and they're all right there. Enable storage sense to manage your memory better. I don't use it, so I'm not sure what that is. Enable Find My Device to track your PC. Again, this would be more for a laptop, but you can find your PC and it tells you that you should be able to find my device toggle from the settings app. And then tweak the nightlight setting to get better sleep. That's if you leave your monitors on. I turn my monitors off at night. But the nightlight setting, I think, is very good. And the reason I say that is that just sometimes when I don't have nightlight turned on, it's much too bright on the screen. And I try to do a screen capture to show you nightlight versus doing regular. And when you do a screen capture, it won't show that. So what I had to do is get my camera or my phone out with the camera and take a couple of pictures. And of course, the cameras adjust light to make it a better picture. So it didn't do a really good job, but what I would like to show you is, let's see, where did I put that? Oh, I know. It lets me minimize this and go here and open this. I tried to get a good picture, but this is without the nightlight and this is with the nightlight. So it gives a nice tint to it. It's much more pleasant. Your eyes aren't as strained. I find it, I'm leaving the nightlight on all the time, and because this is just so bright, but I can't demonstrate it. So as I said, I took a picture of it, and it really doesn't show you how bright it is because the camera dimmed it down some, but you can see it's much more white than this. This is more of a light tan, or like a tinted windshield might be, without it being polarized, without the green tint, but the yellow tint. So it's much more pleasant to use. You might want to play around with it and try it and see if it's something you would like to use. If no other time, maybe at night when it's darker in your house. So let's come back here. So that's tweaking the nightlight setting to get better sleep. And then you can also set active hours. If you use Microsoft to 10, you might have already be familiar with the active hours. When you set up active hours, you tell the PC that when you're ready to start your device after update installations. There are two ways you can set it up. You can either allow Windows to learn from your device's activity to adjust the active hours automatically, or choose it yourself. And what Windows 11 understands your daily activity and automatically chooses a time scale. But if you want to set it, let's say you're doing a lot of presentations between 10 o'clock and 10 o'clock in the morning and 10 o'clock at night. So you might want to start it like an hour earlier at 9, so it doesn't try to do an update just before you're going to go on. But you can say anytime from 9 in the morning until 10 at night, don't do an update, and it won't. And so that's setting your active hours. And then here is set the dark mode to reduce the eye strain. And what the dark mode is, the light mode is, let's go ahead. Let's see. Let's open up. And then to make it dark mode, I don't know whether I can do it just from here or if I have to do the whole thing. Options, let's see if we can do it from here. I don't remember. Anyway, I don't, as I say, I don't like the dark mode. I don't use it. And because I'm doing so many demonstrations and screenshots and so on, I just don't think it shows well outside of using Zoom and so on. Although it does reduce the eye strain. So if you're just using the computer for yourself, you might want to use the dark mode. And then it just goes on, talks a little bit about the article. Okay, before I go to the next session, let's go ahead and stop the share, see if there's any questions, comments. You're also silent today.
You know, one thing I use, Hewie, all the time, it's available on all the systems, is the Alt tab, which then shows you everything that's open on your screen. Sometimes I have so much open, and that works very well. I kind of wondered if you tried that and your clip actually showed up on some special screen.
Yeah, it didn't open properly. But yeah, here I just hit Alt tab and I'm holding the Alt key down so I can see everything that's open in both my screens. And then if I hit tab again, you'll see it highlights the next window, and so it highlights them as you move. So I can go to any one of these, and when you let go, that's the one that opens. So I'm going to come back here. Oh, you're not seeing my screen. I'm not sharing, am I? Well, anyway, it looked real good.
What you mean?
All right, we'll share it and then we'll do it. Okay, so I'm Alt tab, and here you see everything that's open on my computer screen. And so I can hit the tab button and it moves to the next one or the next one. Now, some of these are on my second monitor, so you wouldn't see them if I let go of it. But, okay, here's all right. When I let go of that, bingo, it takes me to that one.
Yeah.
And then I Alt tab again. And so I can go back and forth to
So
whatever I
wonder
want.
whether it would show up on your second screen. So that's the way I thought it might be all on one screen, but it shows up on your other screen.
Yeah, but if I go to something that's on the other screen, I don't want to use that. Let's see, is that the only one? Well, we'll try that. Yeah, it shows it on the other screen. It does not show it on this. Okay.
Right. Okay. Well, that's good to know.
Whoops. I want to come back to the article. No. Where are we? That one. Okay, that's where we'll be when we come back. Oops, I want to stop share. Okay, any other comments or questions? Nice little tricks and things that you can do to make it more comfortable for you, and some things that you might not have realized you can do. So let's go ahead and share again. And screen. And this one we're done with. And minimize this. And bring this back up. There we go. Okay, the next item on here is Microsoft to deprecate the current MSDT, the Microsoft Support Diagnostic Tool, MSDT, based Windows troubleshooters. And there's a lot of them. And they're going to shut them off. Here's a list of the ones that you are there now, and they're going to be removed next year. But they are replacing it with something called Get Help, and it's an app in Windows. And what do I mean by that? Well, we'll come down here. We'll type in Get Help. All I do is type in Get. It's up here as an app. When I open it, it says you can put an example in, and then it tells you some common searches. But let's say I can't connect my printer and press enter. It will give you some suggestions on how to do it. Recommended solution, the printer troubleshooter tells you what to do. Some more help. Let's see. I don't think I can make this bigger. Let's try the power tools. I think I've got them running. So if we do a Windows, no, the Windows Shift T, what is the keystroke for making bigger? I don't remember. I'm sorry. Anyway, you can fix the printer connection, connect to a printer. You can't connect to an internet printer if the internet printing and so on. And then there's some other suggestions here. So when you can't do something, you do have Microsoft's tech support on your computer in the Get Help app. So play with that and try to answer some of your questions using it.
So I have a question for you on what
Sure.
you just did, if you don't mind.
Sure.
And I wonder how this would work. So when you opened that screen up, the text was so tiny I couldn't see it. But what I have on mine is the magnifying glass. Once you get that open and minimize it, all you have to do is hit your Windows key and plus, and it magnifies it. And if you hit it again, it magnifies it again. And if you hit Windows minus, then it goes. So I was able to see it perfectly because mine was set up. Now I wonder if you do it on yours, whether it will magnify it for us.
Well,
if you had the magnifying glass open.
And Windows minus makes it's highlighting it, but I don't see it.
So hit.
Well, wait a minute. I'm in the. How do I get out of it though? No, I don't know. I got.
Oh, up there. Yeah. So all right. So you have it up at the top on the left, upper left of your screen.
Oh yeah, there it is. Okay.
Yeah. So if you can either click on the plus.
Yeah.
Or you can
Okay.
hit
Yeah.
Windows plus.
Yeah, and if I hit the X, it gets it out. Okay. All right. Let's try that with what I was showing you. And so what we did is we went into the. What was it?
Well, the one you got open there would any of those would work because that's tiny.
Yeah, but I want to go back to the Get Help. There we go.
Right.
Couldn't remember. Short-term memory. And we can open up anything, but let's go ahead up and troubleshoot activation errors. Okay, so this is the one you were talking about, and it's Windows Plus. Is that what you said to add to activate it?
Oh, well, it'd probably be an accessory. So, and you already had it activated.
No, but I hit the keys. What did you say was the
Windows Plus? Windows Plus.
Windows Plus
Yeah.
should take you
Okay.
to magnify the screen. And then of course
Okay,
you have to move.
now I've got it right here, and we'll make it.
Yeah, that's worked beautifully. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And of course, you can change, I think, the size of the window within reason. If you change it to the whole screen, then of course you have to move your magnifying glass. around the
Yeah.
screen. But still, yeah, that works. That works quite well. It's very easy too, but it won't work unless you open the magnifying glass. You can then minimize that to get it out of the way, and you can still then use Windows plus and minus to make it bigger or smaller.
Yeah, apparently I have it automatically opening when I start
Yeah.
Windows.
Which is a smart
then-
thing to do, actually, because it's
And then to turn it off, you just hit the X and it
You,
goes away.
you can also exit from Windows Escape.
yeah, that's
Oh.
another.
Okay, great. Whoever answered that, thank you.
Yep,
Yeah, where
thanks.
if you use the control key and then your mouse scroll up or down, up to make it bigger, down to make it smaller, that would
Ah.
make it also text
I
bigger.
didn't know that. That's helpful. Thank you.
No, actually, that's not doing it.
Hold down the
It's-
control key and scroll your mouse.
Oh, control key. Okay.
And scroll your mouse up to make it bigger or down to make it smaller.
Yeah, yep, that's doing it too. Yep.
Yep.
Well, I just learned something.
Good.
That's why I come to these meetings, so I can learn something.
So who said you can't teach an old dog new tricks?
Yeah. Okay, any other comments or questions about that? All right. Anyway, it's the get help and use it. Somebody recently asked me about the fact they couldn't get their printer connected. And I said, and I was trying to think of all the different ways you can check it out. Well, there's one way. And try their suggestions. And so this is an article on how to use the get help. And so let's go ahead and what was it? Control and up. There we go. So it tells you how to use it, which is what I just showed you. Now, how do I get it back?
Escape. Or turn the mouse the other way.
Yeah,
And you can also
90.
use control and the plus.
back to 100. Yep. Okay. Good. You used to not be able to do that. Well, wait a minute. We're on a website, so it's, but it looks like you can do it within your
Yes,
various programs now too.
right.
Okay, good. Okay, some obscure Windows features that will blow your mind. I don't know if they'll blow your mind or not, but here are some obscure Windows features. Even if you've been using Windows for decades, it's so sprawling and complex that there might be truly helpful, as you noticed. Even I learn new things all the time, yet more obscure features that will surprise you. Let's see what some of them are. Again, here's an example, what I was telling you. This picture of a screen capture, a mouse hover Windows activation. Let's try and see if we can make that bigger. Well, we can, but you still can't read it very well. And that's why I don't like the, let's see if Escape gets it back. No, Windows minus. There we go. So anyway, let's go back to the article. Hover your Windows, mouse hover window activation. And I played with this earlier, and I found it to be interesting. And I'm not sure whether I would want it or not, but I turned it off. Now we can show how to get it. First, you go to Control Panel. Even though you usually go to Settings to change things, this time they want you to go to the Control Panel, which is still here. And by starting the typing, you'll see that it's there, and I click it. And it wants me to then go to, see, where was it here? Then click Ease of Access Center, and then making the mouse easier to use. So let's go ahead and Alt-Tab. Come back here. See, the Alt-Tab works. And then it says Ease of Access Center. And then down here, make the mouse easier to use. Let's see if I can increase the size of this. No. Now see, Control Plus doesn't work. And what was it, Windows Plus? That does, okay. So there it is, make the mouse easier to use. So that's what we're going to click on. And then you'll see that there are some settings. And one of them is activate a window by hovering it over it with the mouse. So we'll turn that on. Okay. And then you have to remember here, next you have to come down and say okay or apply. We'll hit okay. Is that working? There we go. Okay. So now we want to hit, I want to come up here. Whoops. Shut this off. So if we have different windows open, let's just make this so it's not full screen. And if I move my mouse to here, notice it automatically, without clicking anything, went right to it. Or if I want to come down to this one, I just put my mouse down there and it brings that up instead of having to click. Saves you a click or two, but you've got to be able to see it in order to do that. Or you can Alt Tab and then go to whatever one you want. And we'll come back here. So I've enabled it now. I'm going to leave it. I'm not going to turn it off. Maybe later I will. I don't know whether it's something. I'll see. I have to see if it gets in the way or not. But it's there, so we'll shut that down now. We don't need it. We'll full screen this again. So that's one thing that I had never used, and that's the mouse hover over a Windows activation. What that means is if it's in the background and you can see a little piece of it, all you have to do is move your mouse over it and it will bring it forward. Easy window arrangement. I like this. With the newer versions of Windows, it's easy to move the windows around your screen. And if you come up here to here, you can set up your screen in different ways. And I like this feature because sometimes if I'm sending out multiple emails, let's say to my entire list of Windows SIG people, and I want to send an individual email, what I can't do is just send them all at once, or Microsoft and everybody else on the internet will say, oh, you're spamming. So I usually send between around 75 at a time. So I'll set up the same email and copy it and then put the names in each one. So I'll set it up like this to have 4 corners and have the same email in 4 different corners, and then copy and paste and make them all alike, and then just put the blind carbon copy to the list and make it different in each one, and then send them out individually. But anyway, getting back to the easy window arrangement, what it says here is newer versions of Windows is easy to move it around. I mentioned that, but if you press the left or the right, so I'm going to, let's see, hold pressing the left or let's see, hold the Windows key down on the keyboard. I'm doing that, and I'm going to hit the left arrow button when I do bingo. Or I can do the right. We'll come back here and do that, and then I'm going to do the right. It'll do it there. And then I'll just slide it over a little bit. And then I think you can also do the up. So you can divide your screen whichever way you want, just with a quick keystroke. And to get it off of this, all you have to do is slide it just a little bit and it'll bring it back the way it was. I find that very handy sometimes, and I like using it. Then there's the quick taskbar launching. It's only for the first 10 items on your taskbar, but if you hold the Windows key and then hit 1, it's going to click the first thing on your on your taskbar. It's probably going to be your phone, but let's see. The Windows key and 1. And it brings up your phone or the phone link, and I can see my phone. And I actually, if you don't have this hooked up, is I can go, it's probably going to say it wants to get the permission to do it. All right, but I can look at my calls, my messages, apps on my phone, and so on. So I'm connected to my phone using this app, and I've demonstrated this before. But to bring that up from my taskbar from down here, now if I hit Windows 2, it brings up the next thing that's on my taskbar.
To your thing like that, or is it just Android?
Actually, I have an article about that. They now connect with iOS as well. But I'll get to that. That's in one of the articles. So anyway, so this part, no, I don't think so. The one I'm talking about, let's see, what the your phone, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah. The phone link has been Android only and mostly Samsung, but now iOS will do it as well. And I've got one of the articles I have tells you that. You can arrange your system tray, and I think I showed you that already. And then you can display the nightlight. I've talked about that. Oh, instantly bring up the task manager. In one of the future versions of Windows, you're supposed to be able to click down on your taskbar and right mouse click, and it says taskbar settings. Well, it eventually is going to also add a second one, which is going to be to open Task Manager. But in the meantime, what you can do is you can hit Control Alt Delete, and it's one of the choices. Control Alt Delete won't immediately do anything except give you a choice to do some things. One of them is Open Task Manager. But if you do from any screen in the program, in any program, click I'm going to hold down the Control Shift and Escape. Control Shift and Escape. As soon as I do, it opens up my Task Manager. A lot of times I have to go looking for it. There's different ways to get to Task Manager. I find that by the keystrokes is easier, but you can right mouse click here and hit Task Manager there. And there's some other ways as well, just to show you that works as well.
I used to just put a shortcut on the taskbar itself. Now I don't have to, because right click on the taskbar gives me that option in the developer.
Yeah, you've got one of the beta copies, and they do have it in there. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Eventually, it's going to make it into the what they call the stable version, or the actual version that's available to all of us. I don't do the developer for that reason. I want to keep track of what's actually working, what isn't.
It's there, Hewie, right now on Windows 11.
No, I'm looking. I've got the latest update, and I don't have it on my taskbar when I right mouse click.
Okay, I was referring to the Control Shift Escape. I'm sorry.
Okay. Yeah, that will work
That's
right
work,
now.
That's
Yeah,
worked
yeah.
right along. That's not new. That's old.
Now, if you're using the Windows snipping tool, when you do, there's some tricks that you can do in there. You can do a partial screen, full screen, and so there's some things that you can do within the Windows snipping tool. I don't use the Windows snipping tool. I use something called Snagit, and I pay for it, but it does so many more things than the snipping tool. And it's from the same company. It does Camtasia, which is an expensive video editing program, and I use it. So by having the two work together, it just works better for me. So none of this I really do. So I don't, but it's something you might want to play with. And search by most recently installed programs. Let's take a look at this. One of the smallest changes in Windows I've gotten the most, and I didn't realize that you couldn't do this before. I thought you could. But if you go to the Windows key, and then
Right
and it
click on
says
the
the Windows.
Windows.
Yeah, you can right mouse. You can also just type in add, and it comes right up here as well. Add or remove programs. You'll see why it's taking so long here in just a moment. Because I have 241 apps installed on my computer. So that's why it took a while. Okay, right now they're alphabetical, sort by name A to Z. Well, I like to keep it as date installed. That means even if it's update, if you run an update, that'll be the last install. So you can see the last programs that were installed on your computer or was last updated. If you were having a problem, this is a good way to troubleshoot. You can go and see, well, what just screwed up my computer would be the last thing that I might have installed. And so you might want to turn it off to see if that's the culprit. And so if you can get in here, you can see I just updated the CRISP on the 11th. Today's the 12th, yesterday. This was on the 10th. So it shows me, and let's see if I can make that bigger. No, I have to use the Control Plus. No, that's not working either. All right. Anyway, I don't know if you can see that or not,
Yeah,
but it
big
gives, I'm sorry.
Plenty big enough, it's easy to see.
Okay.
Yeah, you
All right,
gotta
so
hit Windows plus. Windows key.
Windows Plus. Okay. There we go. How quickly we forget. So you can see that's the date that it last installed or updated. So Microsoft Edge updated on the 10th, and I didn't do that. So it must have done it automatically. And then there are other programs as I move down. So this is in the order that they have been updated or added to my system, which I think is a really good way to troubleshoot when something all of a sudden goes wrong. You might want to see if it was an update or something you installed is causing some conflicts or something else. So, I find that very good and very helpful. Quickly connect new screens. So if you're using a projector, you're using a second screen, this will tell you how to do it. You can either duplicate your screen. So if you've got two monitors, you can duplicate them, or you can extend it. And that's what I do, is I extend it. So when I move my mouse over, you can't see it right now, but I'm on my other screen, and it's my mouse is there, and it's whatever programs I have loaded on that screen, I can see it. And then I can turn it to second screen only and only see the second screen. Now, there are other ways to adjust the text, and this, I don't like to change the text size because certain things don't fit right. The screens aren't always the way the author or the website or the app wants them to be. But sometimes if you have difficulty in viewing things, you might want to change either the default resolution or to change the text size and the display and the graphics. And you can play around with those settings there. And you can also change the icons in Explorer. And that's easy to do. Let's open up Explorer. I know I've demonstrated this before, but let's go to a picture folder here is the, whoops, come on, where to go? And let's go to my pictures. I don't know. Okay, so I'm in Explorer. Now they're in the view. I can look at these either in compact view. Let's quickly look at each of these. That's what it is now in content. Files. Details, which in most cases, that's the way I have my folders, but there are some times you can have it as a list. You can have small icons, medium icons, large icons, and extra large icons. So there's all different ways in which you can view, and different folders I use in different ways to be able to do that. So there's different reasons you might want to, if you're working with pictures, you might want to see which one is the right one you want to use. So instead of trying to figure out the names, especially if you haven't renamed them and it's still the original file name, and you can't tell what's in the picture, by having the large icons or very large icons, you can then know exactly what you're clicking on. And that's the end of that article. And let's go ahead. Where are we? About 2:30. Okay. Let's stop and see if there's any comments. Marilyn, you have your hand up.
Yes, hi. I'm on 10, and I would appreciate knowing how to manage my open windows like you showed us, but in 10, how to manage them so you can see them side by side.
I believe you that may work in 10. I would try it.
Going to the
It does work in 10. I just tried it. The side by side. Yeah. So
the taskbar, you doing that? Okay.
Yeah, what you do is you hold the Windows key down and hit the left arrow.
Thank you.
Yep. Yeah, a lot of these things, the articles are written, it'll say that this is now in 11, and they don't tell you that it also works in 10 because they're probably like me, they don't have a 10 machine to use. So, Marilyn, you can go ahead, unless you have something more, if you'll put your hand down. There you go. Thank you. Stephen?
Yeah, this is unrelated to what we were talking about, but did you have to put a second video card in your computer to use that second screen?
No, the computer I have has an HDMI port.
Okay.
It has one HDMI port, but it also has the USB-C, and you can do a USB-C to HDMI, I believe it is. There's a cable for it, or you can get a what do they call them? It's a hub, not a hub, but a
Adapter?
yeah, but there's different ways in which you can connect from a USB-C.
Right. Okay.
Doc,
Yeah, the docking station. Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, Marilyn, your hand's back up. No, maybe not.
You have to go back to reactions and then click on lower hand. Marilyn.
There it goes. Okay, that's gone. All right. Any other comments, questions?
Yeah, I had another question.
Okay, I thought so. Okay.
Yeah, find another piece or find your PC. So if you don't have another computer and your laptop gets stolen, how do you find it?
I believe there's a way of doing it with your phone.
You have to download another app on your phone?
You can enable it in your Windows login for Microsoft and then go into your account and locate your computer if you have location services turned on.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions or answers? Thank you, Drew.
Hmm?
Yeah, when I don't have the answers, Drew has them for me. Okay, so we got a few minutes left here. Let's go ahead and share my screen again and pick up from where we left off. Screen one. And full screen this again. And this is the article we just covered. Boy, we got a lot more. We're not going to get far with this, are we? Now, this week, Windows had a update. Windows 11 had an update called Moment 2. Why they come up with these names instead of saying, yeah, it's a major update or whatever. They released with a couple of new features. And but you had to manually update this KB is knowledge base number in order to get it to install. It doesn't do it automatically. And there is in the article, there is a link to go get it if it doesn't show in your updates. It did show in mine, but I had to manually click it and then it did the update. Here are some things that changed. Instead of doing it this way, let's do it this way. Yeah, it's better. So here's some of the things that changed. There's a new search bar option. You can now customize the search to your preference. The taskbar system tray overflow menu updated to look more modern and minimalistic. That's this item down here. I wish they'd make it big, allow you to make it bigger. Tabs in Notepad as a screen recording and snipping tool. The screen recording and snipping tool, and it's rolling out via the Microsoft Store updates. So the Notepad, and I did a video on this, and I think that's the next item on here. Let's see, it's right here. I'm not going to play this, but I do have a video called Notepad Goes Tabbed, introducing the latest enhancements. It's a good video. It's only a little less than 7 minutes long, but it talks about all the things that they have changed in Notepad and also what Notepad is. It's a text editor. So that's so you can do that. It's the tab. It now has tabs. The one thing I like about the tabs in Notepad is you can remove them and move them around. Let's see, it's not remove is the word I want. You can separate it and make it two different windows. I wish you could do that with the with File Explorer. File Explorer has tabs now, but you can't drag one off and make it separate like a new window. I wish you could.
I think you can. Actually, I think
No, I tried it. Here's Windows Explorer. And let me add another tab. If I try to take this, well, maybe notice there's a line through it. It doesn't let me do it. And even if I come over to, now it won't do it.
it's funny because I've done it on Windows 10.
Well, try it again. Maybe you're doing something different. But in Notepad, let me bring up Notepad here. In Notepad, if I do this and then bring it over here, well, it's not, yeah, there it is. And then I can put it back there as well. Okay, the Bing chat in the Windows taskbar And Bing has changed, and I'm quite sure that Bob is going to cover that in his, so I'm not going to get into that. And then there's full screen widgets board. I don't use the widgets, it's there. But I'm not sure what that does. And there's some voice access improvements and the Windows Studio effects and quick settings. So there's some big changes in this latest version. It's called Moment 2. Where they come up with these things, I don't know. And there's another article about it.
Here where you find that as an optional update. And you have to, as you said, manually do that. It doesn't
Yes,
happen
yeah.
by itself.
Yep, that's exactly, yeah, I did say that. I think I did.
Is that also available in the Insider Edition without having to install it, or even if you have the Insider Edition, you have to do that?
Bob?
Insider is altogether different. Insider, you ought to automatically have gotten that as part of the update. There is no optional updates in Insider.
That's what I was asking. Yeah, thank you.
And what somebody asked about the Microsoft brings the new Bing to Windows 11, and it also launched the phone link for iOS. So if you are you have a iPhone, read this article and explain about the, let's see, where is it here? It's somewhere's in here. Anyway, I don't use an iPhone. I do have one, but I don't use it. But you can now set it up like I showed you that I do with my Samsung. You can now do with an iPhone. Let's see. I want to move ahead here for just a moment, just so I make sure I get this in. And that's the Microsoft Designer. It's not available. You can join the wait list, put your email in, and join the wait list. I already have. And so I think it would just come up and tell me I've already joined it. But stunning designs in a flash with Microsoft Designer. And what it looks like to me is the success of Canva has prompted Microsoft to do something similar. And this is going to be in that same category as Canva. So I'm not sure if it's going to be free, which I imagine it will be, but it's not out yet. It's not been released, but there's certainly some good video on it. And so I guess I would say it's closer. Is it in the Insider? Bob, have you found it or?
No, not that I know of.
Okay.
Like you, I'm on a wait list.
Okay. Let's see here. 10 must-have Microsoft Store apps for a new Windows PC. So if you get a brand new Windows PC, I'm just going to list these. I'm not going to really probably talk about some. I don't even know what they are. Is Quick Look. It's a lightweight and handy utility that lets you preview file content using spacebar. Firefox. I've got Firefox on mine. A-Text is another text editor. If you don't have a reason to have a text editor, you don't need it. The WhatsApp desktop. So there is now there has been a WhatsApp desktop version, and you might want to install it. The Microsoft Power Toys, I've talked about these several times. They've updated. I do the updates for each one. There's so many good ones with it that it's hard for me to remember all of them and to remember to use all of them. But there are some great utilities in the Microsoft Power Toys. And what they are is a collection of useful utilities. And by the way, I didn't do this. Let's do this. The reason I didn't is because it showed the picture of each one. But the Power Toys is a collection of useful utilities that let you customize your Windows PC. It features a bunch of productivity tools to enhance your Windows experience. Let's see, does it tell us here? They were written, or they are written by Microsoft employees. It is a Microsoft product, but it's And they didn't, in this article, they misspelled Windows. It's, I really like the Power Toys. There are some good utilities that are built into it. And then the Files app is an alternative program to File Explorer. I've never used it in ShareX. The Microsoft, I don't use a to-do list, but there is a Microsoft to-do list. And then a duplicate cleaner. There are all kinds of duplicate cleaners out there. I have a problem with that. I have a lot of photos and I make duplicates of photos to be able to go in and edit them and then just save it to save time. I just save it to the same name, but in a different folder. And then I'll copy an entire folder into I create a new folder called use. I copy everything in there and then delete all the ones I don't want to use. And then I have just the ones that I'm going to use for a particular article or putting them somewheres and sharing them and so on. And so I don't, and I just leave them there. So I have duplicates all over the place that I don't want to delete. So I can't use a duplicate cleaner. And then some lively wallpaper. And so there's lots of apps out there that you can add onto your system. This is how to enable and use split screen in the Edge browser. I found this to be an interesting article. And again, how to enable it, the split screen features available on this. Let's see, let's do this here. So you can see it. This is part of Edge. And it shows the article, how to enable and use split screen in the Edge browser. So first, to enable it. In order to do so, you've got to go into, let's see, is enabled in Edge, you'll see its icon next to the address bar, and I don't have it. I don't have it up here. So let's see how we have to then install it. And so in order to do that, you have to go in Edge, go to edge:/flags, and you'll find the split screen. So what we're going to do is just go to a new window and type in Edge. And it was just what was it?
It was : //
Flags. Yeah, it is a colon there. Something else I was doing didn't have the colon there. So it is : and flags. And what I wanted,
screen.
I'm sorry.
Split screen. Type split screen and search.
Yep. Thank you. There it is. It's set for default, which is right now the default is off. So I enable it.
Yep.
That's all you have to do. And then I'm going to have to restart my Edge. Well, all right, let's go ahead. It's going to close all the tabs. That's fine. It brought all the tabs back, so that's good. And so now it's there. So we're going to come back over here to the article and see what we do next. It's got to load it all back up, though. Okay, so it's enabled. How to use it? Let's see how to use the split screen. You can split. So what we're going to do is to open the link, the split tab, and then follow the steps written below. Okay. Open a web page, right click on the link. So all we're going to do here is, let's see, right click on the link on that web page. So we'll come here. And then we're going to right mouse click. Maybe on the page itself.
Yeah, find a link that you want to open in a separate window.
Yeah, that's what I thought I did, but. Okay, let's just go to Hewie.net. And then what do I do?
Hover over a hyperlink on the page and right click on it.
Okay, there we go. And right click. There we go. Yeah. Open link in a split window. When I do that, bingo. I think that's a useful tool. I got to remember how to do that. Now that I got it turned on, I think that's great. Instead of having one over the other.
Hey, Hewie, I think I know why when you tried to use your tab to separate the screen, you were an edge, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I do it in Chrome and it's very easy. You just click on the tab, you drag it to a new window and it's open.
Well, this one, you don't even have to do that. You just,
yeah, with the split.
Yeah.
Right.
Just right mouse click on it and,
yeah.
And it, well, anyway, you saw how it worked.
So apparently Edge doesn't allow you to do that quite as easily as Chrome does.
Yeah. It's a flag. Okay. We're coming up to Bob's time, or the main meeting. Any comments or questions before we close out the Windows SIG?
This might be, I was at a friend's the other day, this week, and they had gotten a thing on their computer. They asked me about it because what it was saying was that Chrome would not support as of March certain apps. And so in order to get to their bank, they had to go to another browser. You know what it's about?
Yeah, they don't have it as an HTTPS. They only have it as an HTTP. And so Chrome is making it so you can't even open something unless it's been, it goes through the security.
So the bank should be an HTTPS, shouldn't it?
It should be. And that's what I'm guessing is the issue. But there may be some things in the code for their program. It just doesn't allow it to open with Chrome, and it wants Edge.
It listed a whole bunch of apps that it would no longer be opening, sort of.
Okay.
So, I mean, I'd never seen it before, and they were asking me, and I just thought about seeing if something I didn't know, that Chrome wasn't being used much or something.
Talking about apps or websites, there's a difference.
I don't have it in front of me. It was like, we won't support these.
Websites or apps?
I think it said the word apps, but it wouldn't go to the bank.
If it's apps, it may be apps that shouldn't have been up there in the first place. There were quite a few apps that Chrome allowed to open that really were malware. They shouldn't have ever allowed them in the first place. And
yeah, I misunderstood
down on it.
Yeah, and I misunderstood you. What it's doing, you're clicking on something that's supposed to open an app, and it doesn't like that app. And so, but if it's from your bank, you might want to check and make sure that you've got the right app and it's not malware or a virus.
It's a friend's computer, and they're older, and I keep telling them not to click on all these stupid things. But I didn't know, because the way the thing read, it read like Chrome was not. It was stopping to support things, and I thought that was really strange, because I thought Chrome was supposed to be the.
Yeah, it sounds like more just the opposite, that Chrome is seeing something that the others don't, and it says, "Hey, don't click on this."
Okay. Thank you.
Yep, and welcome.
Yeah, I've been listening. Lots of things to learn.
Okay, great. Yeah, this has been a good session. We've covered a lot of things today. This has been the Central Florida Computer Society and Sarasota Technology User Group, WinSIG, or Windows Special Interest Group, for Sunday, March 12th, 2023. Thank you for being here. We hope you've learned something. I have learned some things that I didn't know, so hopefully you did as well. Anyway, I'm Hewie Poplock, and we'll see you next month.